If you have been around for a little while now, you would probably know that I have been very vocal about how I think that Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is overpriced. And I still think that, by the way, but I was also saying that there was little to nothing in this game that looked interesting to me. And that was even further conveyed after my poor experience with the closed beta test that happened earlier this year. However, over the weekend, the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds open network test was available, allowing everyone to try out the online matchmaking for free. And as it turns out, it's way better now. In fact, I actually had a lot of fun with it, but I still do have my issues. Let's start with the positives before we get into the negative stuff. First, the course variety. I think the CrossWorlds are a very cool gimmick, and every race feels different because of them. My only gripe really is that some feel more rare than others, and in this beta, if you pick the random option, it almost always takes you to a normal track instead of a CrossWorld, which I'm personally not a fan of. But I think the stage variety and the CrossWorlds themselves do add a lot of value to this game, especially with some of these picks. You got Kronos Island, Hidden World, Superstars, White Space from Shadow Gens. The fan service is off the charts. I love it. And that also extends to the crossovers, which we'll get into shortly. But the main star of the show was the Extreme Gear. And this is the one thing I can safely say that I was flat out wrong about. Originally, I was looking forward to the Extreme Gear, or the boost type vehicle as the game calls it. But that was before it was confirmed that it was nothing like how it handled in Riders, so I wrote it off. But after trying it out in this beta, yeah, no, it's really f***ing fun. I've seen a lot of people saying that the gear in this game is basically just a reskinned car, but I never found that to be the case at all. The Extreme Gear is much lighter feeling, the drifting feels much better, and overall, it just feels faster. That, along with the fact that when paired with certain characters, it handles like a dream. It's fantastic. Truly. Looking back, I guess it was kind of naive of me to completely write it off just because it wasn't like Riders, but on the other hand, I was also skeptical about this game's speed, because it looked slow as hell. But thankfully, that was just due to Sega not knowing how to market their game properly. This game has a dynamic camera option that we had no idea existed until right before the network test, and my god, this one simple change makes the game feel so much faster. It's kind of unreal. The network test didn't even offer the highest speed possible, but even with the speed we got mixed with the dynamic camera, it's pretty damn fast. The gadgets and vehicles were always something I gave the game a lot of praise for. My main gadget loadout was just having a bunch of ring-based and speed-based buffs. I did mess around with it a little bit, but I think I did find my ideal gadget setup pretty quickly. With the actual vehicle customization, I didn't really mess around with them that much. I mainly just tried to make my Extreme Gear look cool, and that was about it. I eventually settled on this combo right here, and it definitely helped me win a few races. Overall, there's just a lot of customization in this game, with the number of combinations you can make, and that's great. Characters are included in that too. You got the speed types, the handling types, the acceleration types, and the power types. Now, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I mainly just stuck to the handling type characters throughout the entire thing. As the name implies, they handle well, meaning that while they may not be that fast, they overall just feel the best to play. I did give the other characters a shot as well, including Joker, which wait, actually, he's also a handling type son of a bitch. Alright, whatever. I guess this is a good time to talk about the crossover characters and the rest of the post-launch stuff. I think the crossover content itself with the season pass is pretty cool. I've already said what I think about with the Minecraft and Nickelodeon stuff, but if you weren't here for that, I think it's pretty damn cool. But we also recently got Pac-Man revealed for the game, and even though it was pretty expected, it's still awesome. I think all of the DLC stages we've seen so far have looked pretty great. But then there's the free updates, and we actually got a taste of this during the beta, with the Joker Festival. So I guess how this is going to work is that for every free character that gets added, or maybe even the paid characters as well, there's going to be a festival held based on that character. These festivals have their own passes, rewards, game modes, and all of that good stuff themed on the game they're from. I think this is really cool. The Joker event was actually team-based, and you had to work with your party to win. It was really fun, and I especially liked the specific rewards you got from the festival. I just think this is a great way to keep the game going after launch, and it's something that I think previous Sonic Racing games lacked tremendously, especially with Team Sonic Racing. Like, good god, that game was practically dead on arrival. But unfortunately, it's time to talk about the negatives, and there's not that much, so don't worry. First, the item balancing. This was one of my main gripes with the previous beta, and it was way worse there, and I'm glad that they improved it, but it's still not the best. This game is still very chaotic, and there's little to no downtime. And that's partially due to the item balancing. The track design also contributes to this as well, as the tracks are often very condensed and linear, leaving little to no room for the racers to breathe. Now, you may like the chaotic nature of this game and think the current state of it is perfect, and I'm not here to invalidate anyone's opinions, but for me personally, I truly think it gets to a point where the game feels more luck-based rather than skill-based. Throughout the whole beta, I had around 6 wins, I think, but the thing is, it all really depends on who has items stored in their inventory before that final stretch right before the goal. You could be playing great throughout the entire race, but right at the end, everyone spams items, and you get sent straight to last. It's almost unfair in a sense. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but you get what I'm saying. And at this point, with the game only releasing in a few weeks, I don't see any of this getting changed. I kind of think it's too late. And then there are a couple of other things. You know, I don't think the cars control that well compared to the extreme gear. All 4 types have a certain stiffness to them, and they just don't feel that good to me. There's also the soundtrack, which I already made a video about, and since that video, they have released more songs that actually sound pretty good. So maybe this soundtrack is not entirely cooked. Like that Kronos remix, man, that's all I needed to hear. And then there's the price. I'm still going to stand on the fact that I personally do not think this game is worth the full price of $70 or $90 for the Deluxe Edition. But I am way more interested in actually playing this game now. This beta really has changed my mind about the game. Before, I just kind of thought it wasn't my thing. But after this playtest, despite my issues with it, I actually had a lot of fun with it. So I will be picking this game up on a sale. I am hosting a giveaway for this game on my Discord server, so if you're interested, head to discord.gg/sfcitadel or click the link in the description. And let me know what you guys think about CrossWorlds so far, and are you picking it up on launch? But that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.